Why does the past always seem better than it really was? Why do certain memories feel warmer, simpler, almost perfect? You think about an old moment in your life, maybe a relationship, maybe a place, maybe a time when things felt easier, and suddenly, everything about it feels beautiful. But here's the strange part. If you actually went back to live that exact moment again, it probably wouldn't feel the same. Because the truth is, your brain is not remembering the past. Your brain is rewriting it. Most people imagine memory as something stable, like a recording, like a video stored somewhere inside the mind. But that's not how memory works. Your brain does not replay the past, it reconstructs it. Every time you remember something, your brain rebuilds that memory, piece by piece, emotion by emotion, detail by detail. And during that process, something very interesting happens. Your brain edits the story. It removes certain details, it softens others, and it amplifies what felt most meaningful. Over time, the memory slowly changes. It becomes simpler, cleaner, more emotional, and eventually, it becomes something else entirely. A version of the past that feels perfect, but was never actually real. This is why the past can feel so powerful. Because your brain doesn't store ordinary moments very well. It stores emotional moments, moments that meant something, moments that made you feel alive. And when you look back, those moments stand out, like highlights. Imagine watching a movie of your life, but instead of seeing every ordinary scene, you only see the most emotional parts, the laughter, the excitement, the moments of connection. But everything else is gone. The boring days, the confusion, the small frustrations, the ordinary reality of living. All of that fades away. And what remains is the highlight reel. Your brain turns the past into something cinematic, something meaningful, something beautiful. But that beauty is not the full story. It's a filtered version. And there's a reason your brain does this, because remembering pain too clearly can be dangerous. A brain that constantly relives every negative experience would struggle to move forward. It would stay trapped in the past. So the brain does something clever. It smooths the memory. It keeps the emotional lessons, but it removes some of the weight, some of the rough edges, some of the discomfort. Over time, the memory becomes easier to hold. And sometimes, it even becomes pleasant. This is one of the reasons nostalgia exists. Nostalgia is not just remembering the past. It's a feeling, a very specific emotional state. It's the strange mix of happiness and sadness that appears when we look back. Because nostalgia reminds us of something important. That moment is gone, but it also reminds us that the moment existed, and that can feel comforting. But nostalgia also distorts reality, because the brain focuses on what was meaningful, not what was typical. Think about your childhood. Many people remember childhood as a magical time of freedom, a time of innocence. But if you actually examine those years carefully, they were also full of confusion, frustration, fear, loneliness, learning, growing. But your brain does not store all of that equally. It remembers the moments that felt significant. Playing with friends, family gatherings, summer afternoons, moments of discovery. And slowly, those moments start to represent the entire period. Your brain compresses years of life into a few emotional snapshots. And when you revisit those snapshots, it feels like the past was better, simpler, more meaningful. But what you're really experiencing is emotional editing. Your brain has simplified the story. And when the story becomes simpler, it also becomes more beautiful. That's why people often say things like, "Life was better back then." But most of the time, life wasn't actually better. It was just less complicated in memory. Because the present feels different. The present includes everything: the stress, the uncertainty, the unfinished problems, the questions that don't yet have answers. Right now, your brain is experiencing the full complexity of life, but the past is already finished. And because it's finished, your brain can edit it, refine it, turn it into something that feels meaningful. And sometimes, that meaning feels like perfection. But there is another reason the past feels so powerful, and it has to do with identity. When you look back at certain moments in your life, you're not just remembering what happened. You're remembering who you were, the person you used to be, the way you saw the world, the way the world felt to you. And sometimes, that version of yourself feels distant, almost like a different person. Maybe you were more hopeful, more curious, more open to possibilities. Or maybe life simply felt new. And that newness created a powerful emotional imprint. Because the human brain loves novelty. When something is new, your brain pays attention. It records the moment more deeply. It stores the emotional experience more vividly. And that's why first experiences often feel so memorable. Your first love, your first big adventure, your first moment of independence. These experiences feel intense because they are unfamiliar, and unfamiliar moments activate the brain strongly. But as life continues, things become more predictable, more routine, more familiar. And when something becomes familiar, the brain pays less attention. Not because the moment is less meaningful, but because it no longer feels new. So when you compare the present to the past, it can feel like something has been lost. But what's actually happening is that novelty has changed. Life didn't necessarily become less meaningful. Your brain simply stopped experiencing it as something new. And that difference can create a powerful illusion. Because when you look back, those early experiences feel bright, intense, alive. But the present feels ordinary, and the brain interprets that difference as decline. It feels like the past was better, when in reality, the past simply felt newer. There's also something else happening. Your brain naturally tries to build coherent stories. It wants life to make sense. It wants the past to form a narrative. So when you remember your life, your brain organizes those memories into a story. The good times become chapters. The important people become characters. The meaningful moments become turning points. And over time, the story becomes more polished, more elegant, more emotionally satisfying. But real life is messy. Real life is inconsistent. Real life includes long stretches where nothing dramatic happens. Those parts rarely survive in memory because they don't contribute to the story. And when the ordinary parts disappear, the remaining memories become more powerful, more meaningful, more romantic. This is one of the hidden reasons people romanticize the past. The past feels like a completed story. The present feels like unfinished chaos. And the human mind prefers finished stories because unfinished stories feel uncertain. They contain tension, questions, possibilities. But the past has already been resolved. The outcome is known. The narrative is stable. And stability feels comforting. But there is also a danger hidden inside this process. Because when the past becomes too romanticized, the present starts to feel disappointing. People begin to believe something important is behind them, something they cannot get back. They start chasing memories, trying to recreate moments that once felt magical. But those moments cannot be recreated, because the magic was never just about the moment itself. It was about who you were. It was about what life felt like then. And that combination cannot be repeated. But that does not mean the future cannot be meaningful. In fact, something interesting happens with time. The present moment you're living right now will eventually become a memory. And one day, your brain will edit it too. It will remove the stress, the confusion, the unfinished problems, and it will keep the emotional highlights, the small moments that mattered, the moments that felt alive. And when that happens, this present moment will start to feel beautiful too. Not because it was perfect, but because memory turned it into something meaningful. And that realization changes the way we see the past. Because the past is not a perfect place we lost. It is a story your brain continues to rewrite. Again and again and again. And the same thing will happen to today. One day, you will look back at this moment, and it will feel different, simpler, warmer, almost perfect. And you will wonder why life felt so good back then, even though right now, it probably doesn't feel that way at all.